This podcast is part of the C-Suite Radio Network, turning the volume up on business.
Hey, it's Chris Kirkpatrick, and welcome to the Executive Job Search Secrets Podcast. And for this episode, we're going to talk about what to do when you feel like you've exhausted your network when you're looking for a job. We all know most executive level positions are not posted or advertised. So the big question is this: if those 100K plus jobs are not posted or advertised, how do you go about your job search in a way so you can find the right companies, connect with the right people, and land your next ideal opportunity as quickly as possible and without compromise? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Chris Kirkpatrick, and welcome to Executive Job Search Secrets. All right, so this is an interesting topic because I think a lot of people are concerned about this. I think it's one of the biggest concerns that people have consistently with executives that I speak with as they're getting thrown into the job market. You know, one of their biggest concerns is they either feel like they've exhausted their network, they feel like they have no network, or they're concerned about needing to rely upon their network. And, you know, it's one of those things where most of the time I feel like people have a higher ability to leverage their network with a little work and practice and strategy. But that's not the purpose of this episode. One of the things that I think is also important is when you're going through your search, to not start with the best opportunities. You know, one of the things we always say is your job search, interviewing, networking, all that stuff, it's kind of like playing golf. And if you're a golfer, you'll understand what I'm saying here is you could have been a scratch golfer 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but if it's been 15 years since you picked up clubs, sure, you're probably going to be decent. There's a certain level of muscle memory, but there's no way you're going to be a scratch golfer at that point in time, just because you were amazing at it at that point in time. In the past, historically, if it's not something you keep up with, then you're going to need to kind of re-hone your skills, so to speak. And that's why I kind of always suggest to people when they go through this to network, even spend time networking, looking for jobs, apply to jobs, try to push positions down the road that you probably know that you wouldn't accept at the beginning of your market, especially if you're in between jobs right now, and that if you're currently in a position and you're looking to proactively find your next position or get your next promotion or kind of level up your career while you're currently working, the strategy changes a little bit. But if you're in between positions and truly your full-time job is to find your next opportunity, then it makes sense to spend time honing in those skills. And the best way to do that is to get out there, start networking, start interviewing, going through that process and answering the tough questions. And what's going to happen is you're going to get these questions, and you know that you're going to probably bomb the answers on those questions for at least some of them, and it's going to give you clarity on where you need to improve. Like anything else, it's like shanking one to the right. When you're on the golf course, if you're a good golfer, you're going to be like, whoa, I can't believe I did that. I know exactly how to correct that, but now I need to go out and hit the driving range and correct it a little bit, right? And so that's why we do what we do there. But the question then becomes, okay, if my network is exhausted, or I don't want to use my network or leverage my network because, you know, ultimately a lot of people want to use their network, but maybe they feel like they're not ready yet. You know, they don't want to miss an opportunity because you get one shot at every opportunity. If you drop the ball, if you swing and miss, then that opportunity will pass you by typically, right? And so this is one of the things that I think, you know, it's a service that we offer our clients, but it's something you can absolutely do on your own with a little work and effort. We subscribe, and we have some software, and we have a platform that makes our job a lot easier to compile this. But it's all about building a database, right? So when you're looking for a job, you've heard me say it 1,000 times if you listen to this podcast, is that your job is a sales job, right? You are selling yourself for, you are a product in the marketplace, you are selling yourself as a product in the marketplace to be a solutions provider for a company. It's like people buy problems. They buy a drill not because they want a drill, but because they want a hole, right? So what is the problem that you solve? Who are you as a solutions provider in the marketplace, and who is going to be your ideal buyer? And you have to market and sell yourself to those people. So it's about starting with the end in mind and figuring out who are the companies that are the best fit, and really building a profile where your value is the highest to those organizations, right? And that will really allow you to have more posture. It'll allow you to be more laser focused, and it'll allow the conversations for you to be much more relevant. Now, the trick is a lot of people have a hard time finding these opportunities. Now, you can go out online. There are tools you can use with Sales Navigator. You can do Google searches, but there are other tools, and this is one of the areas that I think we add a lot of value to our clients, is to building a database. Because like every salesperson in the world, your ability to sell something is only based on your ability to connect with people. And your ability to connect with people starts with knowing who to call and having contact information for them, right? And that's the power in this. And I think that's where people really get twisted up in their job search, is they feel like, I don't know who to call. I don't know how to find them. If I could get in front of them, I feel like I'd have success. But the challenge is I just don't know how to get in front of them. I don't know how to identify them. I don't know how to reach out to them. And there's really no system, right? So the system, I should say, starts with a list, and you have to build that list. And so when your network is exhausted, or you don't want to tap into your network quite yet, I would say the first thing you need to do is start to build a list. Don't start reaching out to people. Don't try to just start aimlessly shotgun approaching your whole job search. Literally take a step back, build a list. Literally think about the 5 to 10 companies that you would be ecstatic about getting an opportunity to work for. And if you can't list 5 to 10 companies, don't worry if there's a job opportunity there or what have you. If you can't list 5 to 10 companies that you'd be excited to work for if there was an opportunity available there, then you probably are not clear enough on what you want to do to be successful in your job search as it is. So you need to really be able to hone in on those 5 to 10 companies. The great part is, once you have that clarity, then you can then expand that list. You can build, now you have a profile for the type of organization that you want to work with. And that's one of the reasons when I have somebody fill out a vision map when they come on board with us, their branding and vision map, part of that vision is, where do you want to work? What's the type of organization you want to work with? Because when we can build that profile of a company that you're looking to work with, now it's easy for us to go out and build a database or a list of companies that fit that profile of like companies. And that is the key to beginning a successful search. Everything starts from there, because when we can build that list, that database, now as a salesperson, you have a list of 50 to 100 companies, and you probably have a list of 3 to 5 people per company to contact, that to use as networking points of contact, so on and so forth. So that's a pretty amazing thing. Now when you go out to start your activity to reach out to these organizations, you can start with the opportunities that are relevant, but maybe not your first tier, your top tier companies that you're looking for, because now you can really work your way in and test and not drop the ball or swing and miss, so to speak, if one of your top tier companies does happen to have an opportunity. You want to make sure you work out all the kinks in your swing, so to speak, all the hitches in your swing before you get to that point. So that is the thing. If you can go out there, identify the 5 to 10 companies you want, build a list upon that, figure out your profile for the ideal company or companies, industries, what have you, and that take into account all the geographic restrictions or openness that you have, everything that you think is relevant to what's important to you. I'm going to talk about that. We actually talk about that a lot in our book that's coming out, Executive Job Search Secrets, the book, and it's literally the foundation of everything. So What I would do is just do that. Start from there. And then now you have 120 to 150 contacts that you can start reaching out to, and you can do that very intentionally. Now your day-to-day activity, when you're going through, you avoid that browser blackout, you avoid that wasted time online, and you could be very intentional about your strategy and reaching out to people. You're very specific. You're going to be very clear on what you're going for, which is going to make your communication, the value that you can add to them, more effective, and you're going to stand out. You know, the other thing I want to say to this before I end is that if you're not clear about where you want to be and the value that you bring to the table, to the point where you can name 5 to 10 companies and then use that profile of those companies to build out a bigger, more widespread list of the companies that you feel you would be a great fit for, how do you expect to be able to sell yourself? If you are not clear about it yourself, how do you expect a company or a decision maker to be clear enough about you to make a decision and have confidence in what you can do for their company? So this is the most important thing. I cannot stress it enough. And it's the part that so many executives, so many people in every position, quite frankly, just skip right past this, and they just assume that it's going to be handled. But I'm telling you, if you're not clear about it, they're not going to be clear about it. Your clarity is the key to your success. It's going to help you build the list. It's going to help you stand out in the crowd. It's going to help you be a better solutions provider for the people you're selling yourself to. So anyway, I hope that helps. I hope it makes sense. I look forward to talking to you on the next podcast. Go out and crush it. And remember, go to careernextagency.com if you have any questions, and be on the lookout for the new book coming out, Executive Job Search Secrets. And look forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Thanks so much for listening. As a token of my gratitude, I want to give you free access to my Executive Job Search Secrets Masterclass that'll walk you through the 5 steps we use with every single one of our clients to help them find their ideal job in the shortest time possible. If you look below, the link to the masterclass and your free access will be listed in the description of this podcast episode. I hope it makes a huge impact in your job search. Go out there and crush it. I'll see you on the next podcast.
Like what you just heard, visit c-suiteradio.com. C-Suite Radio, turning the volume up on business.